As long as it doesn't take a lot of time, I'd feel bad recommending anybody spend a lot of extra time running sort of test combat scenarios. TPK shouldn't TPK shouldn't have to end a fun campaign, a fun story. TPK is just a plot point. Empress, your question is: should you always do a test run before each combat situation? Uh, I guess only if you're nervous about it. But I think that's a good call out. Nothing other than time and patience is stopping any dungeon master from sitting down with your players' character sheets. They shouldn't be a secret to you. You should be able to print a copy, and the monsters, and you could sort of run a simulation. Say, okay, let's see. Let's just go around and see what everybody does. And you can simplify it, pick a, you know, define the standard fighter attack. Um, pick a mid-level spell that works for spellcasters. Don't go crazy with it. Just figure out what sort of their kind of average damage output is. Test against your average output from your monster. That's totally fine to do. I don't think you need to do it every time, or even probably more than a couple of times until you feel comfortable with running combat and especially adapting combat on the fly. We all like to think that we're decent at predicting how things are going to go. We know our tables better than most people, or should. So you can put together the best version of combat in your mind, predict the situation. I'm obviously a fan of adapting those things as each round of combat, reevaluating and adjusting as necessary. Usually, I think my party has no idea. That's fair, Empress. Totally. Not every combat should be a total party kill, or that threat probably shouldn't be on the table every time. So it's worth testing it out. Obviously, if you have a bunch of call it second level party members, and they all have 12 hit points, and you have them, fighting a big owlbear that's going to do 2d10 damage if it connects with one of its big claw swipes. Well, 2d10 is going to be an average of 11. So one successful hit is going to put somebody probably knocking on death's door. 2 hits might outright kill them. So it's important to keep that kind of thing in mind, and pick appropriately scaled monsters. You probably want, no matter never really thought about it this way before, but like for one monster hitting one enemy, or sorry, for one monster hitting one player character, you probably don't want it doing more than like 1/3 to 1/2 damage on a successful hit. Probably lean towards the low end of that, because critical hits happen, multiple hits happen, and everything changes too. If this is like an area of effect, or if this is something that affects the more than one target, stuff like that can throw it off. I would say that, as long as it doesn't take a lot of time, I'd feel bad recommending anybody spend a lot of extra time running sort of test combat scenarios. However, on top of all of that, if the concern is an unintended total party wipe, you can also, depending on the combat, you don't want to have this, it's not going to make sense in every situation, but if there's a danger of that, you can have a plan. You can have something in mind. I don't think it should be a get out of jail free card necessarily, but let's say that I have a rowdy group of third level party members in a city based campaign, and they're about to deal with the captain of the guard for the first time. And this captain of the guard is, second or third lieutenant to the big bad of this whole city, and the captain of the guard is going to be a thorn in their side, and they've been causing problems, building up a name for themselves, and this is the first time when he comes out and, lets them know he means business, right? I want this combat to sting. And this one might go right up to the edge of like this guy is going to be the first sort of boss that they're leveling up with a mind to stop him, or to go up against him again. And he may single-handedly take them all out. So what happens if that's the case? Well, I don't want the campaign to end, especially because the goal was to make this bad guy a threat. And, well, that works. That's a really effective way to do that. Well, thematically, in this case, if the captain of the guard puts them all down, they're gonna wake up in chains, or they're gonna wake up doing like a day of hard labor out beyond the walls of the city, and or maybe they might just be thrown into the back of a wagon and carted outside of town, 2 days out into the wilds, and they might wake up stable but kind of clinging to life as the crooked guards kind of throw them over the side and say, "Hey, you're lucky that you know you're lucky that he appreciated your spunk, your tenacity. Don't come back. Basically, this is the last warning." And then they hightail it back into town, and the party is stranded out there, needing to scrounge for resources and weapons, and basically level up outside of the city before they go back in. Like, yeah, good point, Luke. You could view a total party kill as an opportunity to skew a story in an unexpected direction. I don't think you probably want that to happen more than like once per campaign, maybe twice if it's a really good idea, because you don't want death to feel cheap. What you really don't want is the players to be sitting there going, "Well, my character's down, but maybe this isn't like a real situation. Maybe this is another one of those fake outs that my DM likes to do." You got to be real careful with that. You want the threats to be real. It's a dance. It's a it's a balancing act. Clearly I'm one of those dungeon masters that's willing to consider options beyond be a hard ass and crush the players and destroy the survival is a reward in and of itself. Like that's a way to play. That's a style of play. And sometimes that is, I think, the answer. But other times, failure presents interesting narrative opportunities, and it's fun to explore those. And I think it's fun for the whole table to explore those. So you have an alternate plan. If you TPK, you're going to reset their levels, run a separate campaign where the party would have to escape the 9 hells. Could do that. You could also, as devastating as a TPK can be, say all of this was prologue. We're jumping forward X number of years, and it's family and friends. It's basically the descendants of these people that are we're going to spin up those characters, and they're going to get revenge for what happened to them, right? There's no reason the game has to stop. TPK shouldn't have to end a fun campaign, a fun story. TPK is just a plot point. You keep going. That's what I would say. Yeah, specifically, I'm working on. Obviously, this is all test, or this is all like placement. It won't be this when I release it, but this is for my commoner one shot. So yep, I am working on two specifically that'll go into my Patreon when I launch it. That's the goal right now.